It's time for Coming in Hotter, Sens post-game show.
Welcome back to Coming in Hotter, everyone. Sens lose 3-2 in overtime to the Dallas Stars. Graham Nichols at my side. Rob Gaudreau's nephew apparently here.
Different
how's it going, everyone?
Different spelling. He didn't have the L in the T, but he's like an old Senators reference.
Oh yeah. Old. I had to Google it. So, how's it going, Graham? Two shows in a day for you.
Two shows in a day. That's all right.
I'm doing fine. Just your overall impressions on the game, because we knew Dallas was going to be a tough opponent for the Sens, but man, it got close.
Yeah, well, I thought the first period, I thought that was probably some of the best hockey I think the Senators have played this year. Like their neutral zone play was excellent. They were like forcing turnovers. They're playing the right way. 2 goals. They looked so comfortable, so clean. And then second period, I thought they played well too. But I mean, you lose Thomas Chabot, and it impacts the ice time, the usage, and everything else. And it was still a decent period, the second period, and then the third period was just a shell game. And it looked like they were playing not to lose, and ultimately that's what happened tonight.
Yeah, that's becoming a theme too. We're seeing a lot of people bring it up that playing not to lose versus playing to win. But yeah, I mean it's really mistakes that cost the Sens a lot this game. The Clevin turnover at the blue line, making his best Thomas Chabot impression, and then that Greg penalty that was just penalty in the offensive zones. They happen, but.
It's tough though. Like a guy throws a bouncing puck in your feet, and it's not you're under duress from Rantanen, and it's just like that's just not an enviable spot to be in. But he could have thrown it back potentially, like not trying to go cross the blue line, but like throw it deep off the left wall, and he obviously didn't do that. And Rantanen gets sprung for a breakaway, and next thing you know, it's a game. It's 2-1. So it's tough finish for Clevin, especially in overtime, which I'm sure we'll get into at a certain point. But it was frustrating. But I mean, at the same time, it's tough when you're short staffed. You lose one of your best left defensemen. You're without Brady Tkachuk. It's like you are short staffed to your best players, and to lose a guy who eats a lot of minutes like that and elevate Tyler Clevin up the lineup. It's not necessarily the greatest thing for you, and obviously Ottawa lost partially because of that. So
We'll get to the goals in a bit, but let's go with what you brought up, the Chabot heading into the bench. I mean, obviously we're hoping that he's okay. He's not out too long, because one, that would hurt the Sens so much, but two, I mean, it just looked like such a mundane hit. Like, I don't know if
must be a back, like a back muscle or something, because he came out and it looked like he just kind of leaned a bit and then grimaces.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said,
he's flexing it a little bit too.
Yeah, so hopefully he's okay. Hopefully it's not a long-term thing. But like you said, it hurt the Sens a lot. He only had, I think, less than 7 minutes of ice time. 6 minutes 50 seconds of ice time before that happened. So especially losing him that early in a game that was going so well to begin with. I mean, Sanderson ended up playing 29 minutes. Like, he's good, but that's never a good sign.
And it robbed us of one of the biggest storylines coming into the game, right? It's like Jordan Spence gets elevated up the lineup with Chabot, and everybody wants to see it. This is what they've been clamoring for the past several weeks. They want to see Jordan Spence play. They want to see him elevated up the lineup, and he finally gets an opportunity to do that, and it's short-lived.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's Clevin back with Spence on the second pairing, and that's hockey, right? Like it's frustrating. But what did you think of Spence's game tonight?
I thought he looked really good. I mean, seeing him next to Sanderson after Chabot left, like, it's one of those things when you get to play with this good of a player, you really notice like how a player, gets to adapt. He didn't look out of place at all to me. He looked good, and obviously he didn't come out with a point or anything, but he was a lot more physical than I thought he'd be. Than what the general storyline about him is, that he's less of a physical guy, which he is, but I mean, like I said, he didn't look out of place. He was clearing the front of the net a couple times pretty well. Just in general, a good game for him.
I thought it was like one of those games where, like you praise players, like when you don't notice them, they're obviously doing something well because they're not making mistakes. And I felt like that was the kind of game that Spence played. usually like you notice him for his offense, his puck moving ability and everything else. The fact that he generates chances a lot in the offensive zone, that wasn't necessarily there today. But I think like one of the biggest weirdest things was he didn't really get an opportunity to play on 3-on-3 overtime. Like Tyler Kleven got 2 shifts there, and like a lot of people are pretty angry about it and upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy to see him on the power play, but yeah, to me it was a little weird. I mean, Kleven was having a really good game, and I don't know with Chabot, if Chabot is gone next game or further, I hope we get an update sometime soon. But yeah, if Chabot gone, he had to play up. I mean, technically his pairing with Jensen got the most ice time, when the other side of the coin was Jensen getting less ice time than Spence now. But that's partially because Sanderson just played so much that he didn't get, at least on Money Puck, the second most, the pairing with the second most ice time is Sanderson Zub, but they're under Kleven Jensen because they actually stayed together. But yeah, and I mean, back to the Spence point, if you're gonna play with Sanderson against a team like Dallas, he's not going to be the number one offensive defenseman on the ice. He's going to have to more play that role. And then now that you have that big of a gap on defense, you really have to tighten up your defensive game, take less risks, and go back to a more basic game, I guess you can call it.
But it can open up ice for you as well, right? Like you think about like when Sanderson has the puck, teams target him, right? Like they're focused on him, they close off his lanes. But if all of a sudden he defers to Spence, who's a very competent puck mover as well, that creates opportunities. There's more space for him to facilitate and distribute, and it can create avenues there. And I think like looking back at last year's success when he had Chabot with Jensen, I think like that's why that pairing thrived at that time. I know I'm jumping all over the place here, different defensemen, but when you have 2 competent puck movers who can skate and move the puck well, like it can create some problems and mismatch problems for the opposition.
True. Last little note on that Spence story. It didn't take a long time for Jensen to be, hey, give me my spot back. I'm an offensive defenseman too. And just put one in like that. Like when I saw him score, I didn't see the number 3 at the back of the jersey or anything. And then I was like, wait, who scored? And then the camera zoomed in. I was like, of course it's him. Right as Spence's confidence was probably like, through the roof. Like, yeah, I'm playing with Thomas Chabot. And then
yeah. Does this clip run long enough to capture the celebration? Like the emphatic, like on one knee fist pump, like there it is.
Yeah.
Like how cathartic was that moment for him? Like as a veteran who's gone through the rigors of like that injury and everything else, like, man, did he need that goal?
Yeah, I bet he's, especially with the way he played last game, which was far from his best game. Yeah, that's another one. Like I didn't see any, like we talk about players being a good thing when you don't really notice them. That was Jensen again too, right?
Yeah, I honestly thought that was Jensen's best game. Like coming off one of his worst, like you mentioned, like that was like he finished the game 53.57% Corsi, shots on goal like 56%, expected goals 64.13%. Like that was far and away his best game of the season, which is what you want. You don't want to see him get worse when he's insulated on the bottom pairing. That's a responsibility and a role that he should thrive in. Like if everything breaks right, and Tyler Kleven's a competent third pairing guy as well, like that pairing should thrive if it sticks.
That's a perfect way to put it. Any redemption game for Jensen. We're gonna go out of order, so I'm gonna leave the Batherson goal for last. The Rantanen goal. Again, a turnover at the blue line. I'm not gonna blame Allmark. I'm never gonna blame a goalie for letting in a goal on a breakaway, especially against Mikko freaking Rantanen. But yeah, it's that turnover at the blue line. Some people are saying that that's, when the ice tilted, the momentum shifted. Did you see anything apart from that?
No, it's just Kleven was in a bad spot. He made he tried to make the aggressive play by passing it to his partner. But if you look back at the clip, if Jake runs it, both defensemen were kind of under pressure at the same time. Like there wasn't a lot of time and space to make any play. Like the safe play would have just been like fired off the wall and try and get it deep back down below the goal line and try and sustain pressure that way. But tough spot. Kleven tried to make a play. Obviously it didn't work out and they got burned for it. But I mean, when you allow a breakaway to one of the best shooters in the game, typically it doesn't go your way very often. So
yeah, I'll call that just a good Dallas play.
And Allmark was playing well. Like that's
Yeah.
that's the other part of it too. Like Allmark he looked very, very solid in the early goings and throughout the course of the game, actually. Like that was a great game for him. There was like a lot of, even though they lost, they got a point. A lot of encouraging performances from the veteran players who may not necessarily have had their best seasons to this point of the year.
100%. And I mean, he stopped 30 shots. I don't think it's really reasonable to ask for more of a goalie, right? Next goal, the Robertson goal, that was just a super nice shot. And I mean, Sens penalty kill woes continue. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's so like they pressured again, like they pressured the blue line. I think it was Pinto pressured the point, and Robertson gets the puck back towards like the top of the circles, and he just walks in with it. And there's just there wasn't like, when you get that aggressive push by one player, if someone else doesn't go to pick up the guy who's going to get the puck next, if there's not that aggressive push and there's not a lot of duress from the PK to force turnovers, make the guy, force him into like bad decisions with shorter amounts of time with the puck, bad things are going to happen to you. And that's exactly what happened there. He just walked in and he wired it. He's another excellent goal scorer. You can't afford guys like that much time and space. It's going to wind up in the back of your net.
Yeah. And the new penalty kill strategy, playing the box versus the diamond now, like Yorkie always talks about, not changing the routine, not changing too much who you play with, not changing too much, team strategies. That's got to apply to penalty kill too, right? I mean, obviously something had to be done about the penalty kill, but do you think changing strategies? I feel like it was really sudden too, even though we're like 3-4 games in now. I don't know. I feel like that put a wheel into their plans.
Maybe, but at the same time, like Travis Green alluded to it in one of his availabilities earlier. Maybe it was about 2 weeks ago. Like they had conversations. They said it was a hot topic in the media room. It's a hot topic in their room, which I would infer involves conversations between the coaching staff and the players. Obviously, he's not going to disclose what kind of conversations those were. Are they heated? Are they productive? Is it the players who are pushing for something, or is the coaching staff pushing for another? Like you're not going to get at the specifics of it, but they've obviously changed structures for a reason. And I think like when you're looking at a body of work that's been 100 games that Travis Green's essentially been here, regular season, postseason, if the results of the diamond formation aren't good when you haven't changed the personnel wholly that much, like I think like the wrinkles that they've added this year, like Tyler Cleven's getting some responsibilities, Tim Stützle's getting some responsibilities, Dylan Cousins is getting some opportunities there. But like with the exception of those three players, it's pretty much been the same. It's the same personnel, it's the same structure. It's not getting results. There's no consistency in terms of like this aggressive approach where it's like one guy goes, the next guy has to go. It's always falling back into this passive structure and style. And it's for whatever reason, it's just not meshing. The players aren't taking to it. There is no consistency. And at some point it has to change. I think that's pretty much where we're at right now.
Last goal of the game. Roope Hintz gets me a couple fantasy points, but you can't blame that on Allmark at all. That's the best way I have to put it. It was 3, 4, 5 rebounds in a row, and then you said it right before we hopped on the show, or was it you, Jake? Sorry, kind of just the defense kind of just caught puck watching, being like the same reaction we had. Holy smokes, Allmark is actually making those saves, and then that leaves a player free. Yeah, that's just another unfortunate one.
It's everything, right? It's just like defensive shell. Like Dallas is a talented team. You can't like take too much away from them. Like Shane Pinto made like 2 great blocks there.
Oh yeah.
And then Allmark makes that desperation save, and then it's just they can't pick up the rebounds. It's just it's tough. It's tough.
That's about it for that story. I mean, well, when I see 3-on-3 overtime, it kind of just becomes this. I kind of see it the same way I'm starting to see shootouts to a lesser extent, because, when a game gets to shootout, I don't know if you feel that way, where it kind of just becomes a 50-50 game, right? Because whoever gets lucky gets a break, gets a good chance. It was fine. Justin, addressing what we were just talking about, thank you for the donation. PK formation was fine. The power play, they need to cash on them. They're trying so hard for a fancy power play goal. I agree. especially after Chabot was gone, it just felt like everyone was trying to make, that extra pass, that, those fancy plays, and not just on the power play, but, maybe that's an addition of having Spence there instead of Chabot, or I don't know, maybe overconfidence on the power play too, because it has been working so far this season, but we're starting to drop down the rankings now, eh?
I also feel like it's like every goal that Ottawa gets now, they're starting they have to work for it. Like it is going to be pretty, they're not getting a lot of the grease. They're it's they're not really going to the hard areas, banging stuff in. It's like you said, it feels like there's a dependency on skill plays.
Yeah.
Just to produce this offense. And it's like, well, get your traffic, fire a shot in, see what happens.
That was not fully, but that was the strategy with Tkachuk, right? When he was here, you're still missing that net front presence. I saw Dylan Cousins moving into that position tonight. I mean, he's probably the type of player that would do it on any other team, but like
you can't. You can't replace Brady. It's exactly. He's just one of those unique. Everybody calls him a unicorn now, but it is. It's like you can't replace that size and physicality.
And he's saying Dallas was biting on their power play route, so they were getting opened up. But yeah, they needed some shots on net, and not just perfect plays. That's a good theme. Back when DJ Smith was the coach, we did see that too. Like a power play always looking for the perfect play, and it sometimes would work out because you have so much skills, right? Like Batherson and Timmy, they're really those types of players always that are able to make those fancy passes look completely effortless.
Yep.
But you can't just be looking for that.
No,
that's my opinion.
Switching gears a little bit, what do you think of the refereeing? A lot of people are commenting on the refereeing and just the calls, non-calls.
The only one that really stood out to me was early in the second period, Rantanen running into Allmark and bringing him down by the blocker. I saw
Rantanen was in the crease all night. Just constant contact. I know that's his game, but
yeah, that's who he is. I mean, and he does it well. At the end of the day, players are allowed to be in the crease, but they got to be careful, and that's what he's good at. He's good at, not getting penalties and riding that line. And again, except for that, when he ran into Allmark and brought him down, which kind of was raising an eyebrow to me. If they just, he's going through the crease to follow the play and he just bumps into Allmark, to me that's fine. But, and I get it that it's an instinct for every hockey player to, oh no, I'm going down, let me bring down the guy with me. You can't have that same mentality with goalies. They're untouchables. I know we're talking about the movie a couple of shows ago, referring to a line, but you can't do that with the goalie. But apart from that, I don't want to blame this game on the refs.
I would say I liked the line of Greg, Cousins, and Zetterlund tonight. I thought they were actually pretty good for really got off the schneid last game. He got 2 points, his first multi-point effort of the season, first goal in 13 games. I thought they were doing some things well, but just talking about penalties and Ridley Gregg, it's I know he's an agitator, he's a pest who tries to get under the skin of the oppositions, but there's a time and space, and I know he operates in the gray a lot of the time. But tough penalties to take tonight.
Yeah, and I mean that second penalty is really that's where I saw the momentum really shift. I was like, oh, one mistake at the blue line, Rantanen goes in on a breakaway and scores. You can move on from that. That's that power play, and then that power play goal. That's when I really saw the dagger and was like, sometimes they tie it up and you're like, good, at least we're still in it. There it was just, man, it hurt. It hurt. That's it. That's all the goals except for the Batherson goal, but I wanted to save that for last because it's almost like Batherson took my bets personally and was like, nah, I'm doing that. So let's see how my bets played out, because spoiler alert, it did not work out. So this segment is brought to you by Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. Bet the action on every period, every shift, every shot with Canada's homegrown sportsbook. Sports Interaction. Ontario only, 18+. Please play responsibly. Yeah. like I said, I feel like me for once saying that there wouldn't be a goal in the first 10 minutes and then spectacularly not working out. I don't know if Batherson just hates me or if he even knows I exist. But I mean, what a shot on his end, though. And yeah, it made me look like an absolute fool.
Emotional betting. I like it, though.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, then
Well, it's exactly that. I bet goal in first 10 minutes for the past, 3, 4, maybe even 5 games, and it never worked out. And then, boom, the one time I bet against it. Ullmark letting in under 3 goals. He lets in exactly 3 goals. I kind of expected this game to be, a low scoring type. So maybe ending up with that kind of score of 3-1. But man, it came so close to actually working out. And if the Sens bring that in overtime, that would have hit. But yeah, that goes back to Ullmark really playing well. I think he's found his game this season, didn't he?
He's looking better. He looks more and more sharp. It was the big sprawling left pad save. Oh God, was that off of Johnson? I can't remember who he made it off of. Yeah, he's starting to look more comfortable, and Levy as well.
Levy's looked amazing.
It's been a really, really tough start to the season for those two guys, and they're looking more and more comfortable. I think it's Linus Ullmark is a career .950 goaltender. He's not going to stop 80% of the shots, 86% of the shots the entire season. It's going to eventually, it has to get better. And this is around the time last year where he threw things into overdrive, and he had an unbelievable locked in month to push the Senators deep into playoff contention, and they just kept that momentum through the second half of the season. So he's certainly capable of doing it, and he's looked really sharp in the last couple games.
When you were on the show last, we were like, hey, Ullmark figures it out. Brady comes back, Sens are the best team in the league. And then
I don't know if that's exactly what we said.
I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And then the double chance. I'm looking specifically at Wyatt Johnston. Mm-hmm. Talk about a quiet, good season he's having. At least I didn't know this until right before the game I checked out. He's got 10 goals in 16 games at 20 points.
Yep. Very talented player. And they found him relatively late in the draft, right? So Dallas has always historically done a very good job of finding talent in the draft. Outside the first round, they've been strong. That's what's kept them in contention. It's kept their window open for a long time just because of it. Yeah, I think them and Carolina have been really, really, really strong at finding those talents.
Yeah, I think the scouting staff in Dallas is the same one that found Datsuk and Zetterberg back in the day in Detroit. So good track record on them. But yeah, that's all the bets I had for tonight. Sorry, let's hope it actually works out for the next game. But every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. From puck drop to overtime, bet with live odds on every play with easy deposits and payouts. Go to sportsinteraction.com/cominginhot to open an account. Ontario only, 18+. Please play responsibly. So with the Chabot injury, like we said, Sanderson getting 29 minutes. Spence playing that little bit of an elevated role. He got some time on the power play. Sorry. Looking at that, let's say Chabot is out long term. What do you think that lineup looks like? Do you put Spence and Jensen together on that second pair? Do you move up Clevin?
I think they'd probably move Jensen to his offside, and then they'll just insert Matt and Paolo in. I think that's the easiest move to facilitate without disrupting too much.
Right.
I'd probably keep Spence with Clevin. There's some familiarity there on the second pairing. Clevin, this is his time to shine. This is a guy who's a very competent third pairing guy, and now he's got an opportunity to showcase himself as potentially being more than just a third pairing guy. He plays, you can go from 14, 16 minutes a night to playing 20, 22. Well, he played 25, I think, tonight. So this is a great opportunity for him to showcase himself and show what he can do. So I think losing Chabot is a tough pill to swallow. And I know he takes a lot of flack from certain sects of this fan base, just because they don't believe he's tough enough. They don't believe he's physical enough or defends well enough to ever be a guy they need when they get deep into the postseason. But I've really liked Chabot's game for a long time, and he's such an exceptional puck mover. And what he does for this team, just getting the puck from the defensive zone to the offensive zone, there's so much value in what he does. And if he's out for any extended period of time, that's a tough blow.
It is. I agree with you 100%. Yeah, actually, let's get to that question before. Let me pull up the comment because I can't see it. Graham, what's up with Jake the Snake? He's been looking average lately. Also, Spence has less time on ice by a large number, and I didn't see anything wrong with his game. And bring up Yak. Let's talk about Yakimchuk too, since we're talking about filling a gap. Do you bring him in after a Chabot injury? Or I know you just said
no. It's just you can't play with the right side. You play with what's here. Like the guys, Matt and Paolo had a great second half last year. Jensen's an established 35-year-old veteran. You don't disrespect those guys.
Yeah.
To bring in Yakimchuk. And I know like Steve Staios and his media availability yesterday had glowing praise for what Yakimchuk's doing in Belleville, and he described that he would be comfortable bringing him up to play if warranted through injury or whatever. But I think you just let that kid sit, you let him marinate in Belleville, let him develop his defensive aptitude at the professional level, and just there's no reason to rush him. And I think like they did the same thing with Tyler Clevin when he was down in Belleville. Like Staios came out after that season and said like that's a guy who probably deserved to play ahead of some of the alternatives that they brought up throughout the course of the year. But they didn't want to disrupt his game. They wanted to let him thrive and succeed at the AHL level. And I think that's probably what they might wind up doing with Yakimchuk. And that's fine. I think there's the guys that are here are competent enough to get the job done where you don't have to necessarily worry about bringing him up. But I mean, if Yakimchuk blows everybody out of the water at the AHL level and starts to dominate and take over games on his own, I think,
of course,
get him up. You absolutely have to get him up at that point. But until
I agree.
Leave him where he is. You're good.
I agree, but I just want to add to that. I felt the same way when they first traded for Spence, but you have Sanderson, you have Chabot, now you have Spence. Do you need that extra type of player where, I mean, yes, Yakimchuk's big, but that's not his game. He doesn't hit. He's not a bruiser. He's a more offensive guy. Like he's more offensive, puck moving, clear the zone, get it through the neutral zone, breakout guy. You don't need an extra one of those guys. Like you guys talked about it. If you are going to bring exactly, poor guy. Like you said, he needs ice time. Not guaranteed he's going to get it here. But yeah, like you talked about it on the main show. If they're going to bring in a top 4 defenseman who is going to be that bigger bruiser, long reach guy, Yakimchuk's not him. Right?
Not yet. He's got a physical element to his game. At least at the WHL level. I haven't seen him play in Belleville other than like the highlights you see on social media and stuff. But he can bring those elements. But I mean, it takes time. Like we were talking about Tyler Clevin earlier this season, where it's like he's always had that, right? Whether it was at North Dakota or in Belleville,
right?
He would almost like to a fault chase those hits, and like when he got to the NHL level, he would almost like play more conservatively, just because like he didn't want to take himself out of plays. He's trying to evaluate his game and just the structure and the system being played, and like he's just trying to kind of pick his spots, learn when to pick his spots. And I think with Yakimchuk, it's probably going to be a similar kind of development.
Justin just said we're not helping his cause. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. People want Yakimchuk. That's a good thing to have. You got a really well-regarded prospect in the minor leagues, and people want to see him. That's not a bad problem to have. It's just it might not necessarily happen as soon as you want it to.
People love the Yak. How much emphasis do you really put, since in your mind you'd get Jensen on his offside? How much importance do you put that, having a righty on the right side, a lefty on the left side?
It's tons, just like puck retrieval off the wall and stuff. It's just huge. But I mean, like some guys like it, right? Like some defensemen play their offside because they like the fact that their handedness is now in the middle of the ice, so it creates like different lanes that they otherwise wouldn't have, and it opens up some different opportunities. But yeah, in terms of like battling on the wall, and I think that's where like Jensen's game this year has kind of been struggling a little bit. Like it just seems like he's been knocked off the puck a little bit too easily, and he's been losing some of those one-on-one battles. So I don't know if that would don't know if playing the left side would hinder him, but I don't think you make that move with a younger guy in Matt and Paolo, who's pretty much played exclusively on the right side.
Yeah.
But getting back to Justin's first point about Sanderson, I know like we talked about it this morning on the pod with Yorkie, there is a suspicion that he might be playing with the flu. That's unconfirmed. But you know, it is that time of year. So there could be stuff going on like that. And sometimes if you notice players aren't playing well on the ice for any particular reason, it's usually a time to be suspicious about something potentially afflicting the team.
Just blame it on that, eh?
Well, maybe.
And I mean, to the same lefty-righty point, Donovan is probably the guy they would call up as the next lefty. I mean, you can't, like we said earlier, you can't play him over, if you're not playing Yak over Jensen, Matt and Paolo, you can't play him.
It's probably their thinnest position at the minor league level. So it's especially after losing Sabrango, right? Like it's just, it's a thin position right now. So get well soon, Shabby.
Yeah. No points for Dylan Cousins tonight, but 5 hits on the board. He's another guy who I thought about putting some money down on scoring because he is due. He's not doing well in the plus minus category, even though, you know, we always say that's not the perfect stat. But I thought he was noticeable tonight on the power play. He had I don't have his face-off stats right now, but I felt he did good at least. Talk about a guy who, you know, off the score sheet, I always think he's doing a really good game.
Cousins was 43%, won 3, lost 4. But it was -1, 5 hits, 1 shot. I thought their line was good. Like I know we talked about this earlier, but like I thought they did some good things on the ice. It just didn't materialize in production, which feels a lot like a Zetterlund game from last season. But it's it's tough for Cousins. Like I think like underlying numbers this year for him haven't been particularly kind. Like he's kind of been a power play merchant with his one-timer and he's doing a lot of things really, really well with his shot. But there's like a consistency to his game that you just wish was there all the time. If that makes sense. Like to me, when I watch Dylan Cousins, he's got a lot of tools, a lot of physical tools. And like you can see, like he was obviously taken very high in the draft. You see a lot of projectability just in terms of like what he can bring. It's just, how do you manifest results consistently? And I think he's just, you know, he's adjusting to his team. He's what, like 20, 30, probably 35 games into his Senators career. Very inconsistent line mates in the time that he's been here. So it's just a matter of, I think it's just a matter of figuring it out. It might take him a little bit longer than we want, but I think there is some good talent there for sure.
I'm sure losing Batherson didn't help too. 53% actually for Dallas on the faceoffs. This is the first time in a while the Sens do get behind on the faceoffs. Only one guy above 100%, or sorry, above 50%. That's Tim Stützle, just with 54%. Giroux had 71 after taking 7 faceoffs. Actually, I guess 2 guys. But yeah, that hurts. It feels like the first time in a while they didn't do that well in faceoffs.
And that hurts the penalty kill. That hurts the power play. Like it affects special teams. Like I don't put a ton of value into it over the course of like, you know, a full season. But like there are those specific moments where it would have been like, that would have been nice. Would have been nice to win that draw. But
in one game, it'll get you a lot. But overall, panic button's still not out, right? We're still
not yet. I mean, Wally could join this pod at any time, so we'll see.
He'll do the Undertaker, like,
yeah.
But no,
someone say panic. Yeah.
But yeah, now with 20 points, 2 points behind the first place Canadians, which still feels weird to say. No panic. Annie's saying just mad at the refs. Again, team stays above, something I feel like I remind ourselves at every podcast, above 500 until Brady comes back. That's what they're looking for. And
still 6-1-3 in their last 10 as well, right? So
I love that number. Yeah, any like other overall thoughts on the game? This feel like it went by really quick, actually.
Yeah, it's Dallas is a good team, and I think as soon as you fall into that shell, that defensive shell, where you're just like you're trying not to lose and you're just trying to hold on, get a point.
Right.
Bad things usually tend to happen, and I know like some calls didn't go their way. They probably didn't have as many power plays as they wish they had. But it's just it was just frustrating. I think like Allmark played really well. I think Jensen played really well. I think there's a lot of encouraging, good stories to come out of this game, even though they lost. But to me, I still feel like Ottawa's kind of still chasing that 60-minute effort.
Right.
It's just like they haven't played. Like obviously they're having success, they're winning games. But I would say like the wins that they've had over the last 10, they're not like necessarily convincing wins, right? I think they've looked really good in stretches, but they've also had moments where it's just like, oh, okay, they're not doing that hot, and the PK is still having issues, and finally the goaltending's turning around. But I think if there's a moment in the next little bit, maybe it happens before Brady comes back, but if they can put together a full 60, that's I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, that's going back to the theme of they played awesome in the first period and then just looked like a completely different team, and it felt like it kept going down.
It's probably the last Boston game, right? Which is interesting because that's the next game on the schedule.
The next, yeah. So. Justin, you actually reminded me of a point I did want to bring up and completely forgot about. Hayden Hodgson. I talked about it last show. Kind of raised an eyebrow. Him over McDermott, him over Lixell, him over a 7D, whatever. I know we talked about the 7D thing. But again, he looked good. He looked useful in the game. Yeah, like Kevin Lee said, who's a legend, by the way. Is he? Do you agree with him? More useful than McDermott? Maybe not as much as a deterrent, but as a guy on the ice.
Kevin Lee probably went out and bought Hodgson's jersey after the game, just after the fact. But yeah, like you notice the speed a lot more, right? Like I think anybody beside McDermott, like obviously one of the first things you're going to notice is just the speed. And I think one of the things we were talking about this off air before the podcast started with Hodgson. You can see him working hard. You see him skating hard, getting in on the forecheck. Whereas like with McDermott, that it's just not going to happen because of his speed. Like he's not that kind of player. He's there for one purpose, and that's totally fine and fair. But I think Hodgson brings more elements, and he still has that like agitating physicality that you're looking for in a fourth line player.
7 minutes of ice time for a guy that's 6'2", 230 pounds. Again, if we're talking about that, shows that we're not too worried about the rest of the game, I guess. The rest of the team, sorry. And going back, the forward line with the most ice time was Tim Stützle, David Perron, Drake Batherson. No surprise there. Your Untouchables getting just under 10 minutes of ice time. Is that something you kind of expected? Because the way they look good, they technically got the first goal. Jensen's the one that potted it in, but Giroux and Amadio with the 2 assists there. I thought they had a pretty good game.
Yeah, they got the goal, right? They got the 1 5-on-5 goal. So yeah, they've been really strong. I like Michael Amadio, just
legend.
Yeah, just like does so many things well away from the puck, and same with Claude. Like just like 2 cerebral guys in the wing, and then Shane Pinto is just your great shooting 2-way center. It's just a good. I really like that line. I wish it might be a little bit faster, but you have to be happy with what those 3 are giving you right now.
Yeah, Giroux on your third line still feels insane to me. Next matchup, they get a day off, then they're back at home. That's the 3rd one in a row at home out of 4 against Boston, who already playing them for the 3rd time this season. So points in the Atlantic are going to be super important. What do you expect out of them? Because the 2 games they've played so far are 2 tales of 2 almost completely different teams.
Yeah. Feels like a good night for Zetterlund to get on the board.
I like
channeling my inner Wally.
I love how the narrative has so changed. Wally's the Zetterlund never know. It's
yeah.
I guess I have an influence.
Yeah, maybe that's not a bad thing, Cody.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, again, I feel like a lot of it's going to depend on Chabot coming back or not, because like I've said twice so far, 2 times. Good job, Cody. Good English. They're a physical team. They're a team that's hard to play against, and I mean, you can't expect another 7-2, 7-1 blowout against them again. I mean, if Matt and Paolo draws in, and at this point, they're probably keeping Hodgson with how they've
with like Jeannot. Yeah, they have Jeannot, and they have some guys that can get out of the skin and stuff. But
yeah, it's hard to predict.
I know. It's just like I just hope Chabot's back, because I think if he's out for, whether if it's a game or a week or 2 weeks or longer, it's just awful.
You can't.
They don't have the depth on the left side to.
Well, I don't think anyone does. You can't just lose 2-star players this early in the season like that. It's especially
on the blue line. Like, I just don't think any of those guys in Belleville are close to being like NHL regulars.
No, again, like the most similar guy up there is Yakimchuk, and I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but he's not the guy they're calling up. So yeah, if the Sens come out with the win, it is going to be a close one. Also depends who's going to be in goal, on both sides, because.
Who'd you go with? I know I ask this like every time I'm on.
No, and it's really reasonable, because I was about to ask you the same thing. I'm going with Ullmark again.
Going back to Linus, yeah.
Yeah, Levy played great against Utah, but so did Ullmark tonight. So if he's going to start a hot streak, a good time to start it first. But this feels like a good opportunity if he's going to start it, and then worst case you have LA, he can take that game off before a big road trip, or even after LA they got 4 days off. So
yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm curious. Like, if they do start Ullmark, conceivably you're probably starting Levy against the Kings on Saturday, which would essentially afford Linus a week off between games. Is that too long? Would you rather have him play Saturday and then give him 5 days off?
Well, first off, I'm going to go with what Annie said. I just want to see Ullmark versus Swayman again. As much as I love having Ullmark in Ottawa, it was so fun to watch them together. But that's actually a really good point. But I feel like he can handle a week off, or worst case, he can play the 2 games with a day off. 3 games in 6 days. I don't think it's that big of a deal for a guy like Ullmark to play. Levy needs to play, yes, but Ullmark's your number one, and I feel like that's something that's Travis Green's got to keep up with, right?
He's well on his way to surpassing his career high in games played. Like, if this is the way it's trending, like, he's going to smash 50 games played.
Well, 100%. we were saying that last year too, but Sens ended up making the playoffs. Yeah, it's something to worry about, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess, because I feel like at this point this is such a weird situation to be in to predict what's going on, right?
It's tough, and then the coaching staff doesn't tip their hats either. Like, they don't tell you who's starting until game day.
Exactly, and even past the goalies with the lineups, we saw a pretty similar lineup to what we saw against Utah, but again, I feel like it's a roll of the dice. Whatever can happen, because is Hodgson going to stay in? Is he going to come out? Is David Perron still going to be on the top line? Is Giroux still going to be in the third line? I feel like there's so many variables now, especially with Chabot out, that anything can happen in the next couple of days, right?
There's so many different permutations that the lineup can take on, right? And we talk about like Perron. One of the things I have to give the coaching staff credit for is like whoever they've plugged in on that top line has come in a small sample size, had success. Like, Perron's put up points in the several games that he's been there. Nick Cousins had a great little sample size of games where he was putting up some goals. And it's like those kind of performances, obviously they're not going to be long-term things, right? Like, obviously you don't want, ideally, you'll never have Nick Cousins or David Perron playing those minutes for your team. But if those guys produce in small sample sizes, it helps make it so much easier to have Brady Tkachuk out of the lineup. Like, you just get that instant production to help fill the void a little bit. And I think to the credit of those two guys, like, they're doing a lot of things well to like help facilitate, extend shifts in the offensive zone for like Timmy and Drake, the skill guys who can make things happen. So full marks to Cousins and full marks to Perron, the games that they played.
And I talked about it on the last show, and it is nice to see like being able to move around the roster like that, because there's a lot of guys that could fill in that Tkachuk spot. Like, if Perron doesn't go back and Cousins already had his, I guess he already had his turn. Greg could easily hop in there. Zetterlund could easily hop in there. If you move one of the other centers there, you can shuffle around. So I don't know. That's a testament to the depth of the team, but it'll be nice to see. And yeah, I'll be back to talk about it on Thursday.
Sweet.
Sweet. So yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Sorry, another kind of a bummer one. Graham, you keep coming only when the Sens lose. So eventually we'll get you on to talk about the positives, eh?
Yeah, someday. It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, so thank you for watching, everyone. Stay safe on the roads again. I know they got a little better, but it's still pretty treacherous out there, and we'll see you on Thursday.
See you, everybody. Thank you.
You've been watching Coming in Hotter, your home for Sens post-game coverage all season long. We're live after every game. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show.